America hard in for its American Freedom Weekend.
Yeah.
Do you have 2 days off, Alex?
I do. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Look
4th of July.
I'm Doell, by the way, one of the hosts. I guess I never really introduced myself, do I? I kind of just going hard in.
And I'm Alex. You've already let that cat out of the bag.
Yeah, that's no spoiler alert. That's Alex. He's American. I clearly
don't read my name tag.
Yeah,
I can't cover it up. I can't cover it up.
If you try to go on your screen, it's like, wait, I can kind of see it, kind of not. But yeah, what are you planning? It's your turn for a long weekend. It was my long weekend last weekend. Yeah. Now it's your turn.
I know. Happy belated Canada Day.
Oh yeah, thank you. I got it. Foreshadowing. There's some Canada in one of my picks.
Oh man, on brand, eh?
On brand. I couldn't and it is branded, sir. Just hang tight. We're gonna get to it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Any big plans for the weekend?
No plans. I hope to see some fireworks at some point. Always.
Yeah. I hope you're not doing the fireworks yourself. You need your hands.
Oh yeah. Good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my old neighborhood, it used to get crazy around this time of year. Like people would just be setting off fireworks in the street constantly, and they do some. I'm hearing some soft fireworks in the distance in the neighborhood, and it's cool.
Already, it's starting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when people get ready for the purge.
Yeah,
right?
No, definitely my old.
That could be next year.
Yeah.
Depending what happens in November, that could be next year. So we'll see.
Yeah,
oh, okay, I just went totally dark. Politics, everybody.
Trying not to think about that.
Yeah. My apologies. I digest. No politics. Only fun tonight because it's America long weekend. Freedoms. All right. Let's say a quick howdy do to the chat. Then we're going to get to some housekeeping. We got Doell here with us. Video Power Gaming. Hey, can we get some more sweet Batman Goon impressions tonight? It just might happen for America. Stanley Eberhard is here. I'm assuming that is in regards to the Cantina HasLab. Johnny Cock is here. Quip, my boy, and yours, Mr. Matt Bush. The Ryan Doell fan club is here, which is wild because Yoko, the president of the fan club, is streaming over on the Fallen Fett Chronicles as we speak. Justin Nicolosi is here. Honor You 83. Boom! First try, no warm-up. Cannot wait. And yes, I will be on Victoria's Cantina on Friday. I will be there. We're going to talk about that cantina, almost funded. We're so close. And you get relaxing. You get 2 shout-outs because I said so. Shiny Plastic People, the Garcia Osprey match is great. I've got it on pause. I'm going to get back to that match. I cannot wait. Shiny Plastic People, shout out to him, giving me the updates on the latest leaks on the Superman news, on the Superman set. But we're not going to really talk about those. I'm going to try and stay away from the leaks. There's plenty of in fact, you can go tune into Shiny Plastic People's page on his YouTube channel. And I believe he's talking about some of them leaks. So if you want to hear about that, tune into Shiny Plastic People. Tony Johnson is here. Cougar McGillicuddy. Doc O's Collecting. Hello there. Everyone's chatting. This is great. Stephen Lawrence is here. Eric Elliman. Christopher Negri is here as well, right? Just watching Axel F, a.k.a. Beverly Hills Cop 4. Saw the time. I hope that's good. That's part of my weekend watching. It's going to be that, some wrestling, some Money in the Bank this weekend. My weekend doesn't start until Friday night. But I also am going to start rewatching some of the Fox Marvel movies.
Oh.
I feel like I need to get ready. Well, I feel like I feel like there's going to be like things in Deadpool Wolverine that might be some really deep cuts that I'd love to be able to Leo. Right? I'd love to be able to do that.
Yeah. It's also just cool. Like I watched the like Nightcrawler scene from X-Men 2 a little while ago, and it's cool to see those movies and those sequences and those effects before everything became just so
Green
CG,
screening.
and they had to really think about, plan the. I mean, I know, like, obviously, like, there's like very ambitious, well planned out fight sequences and stuff like that nowadays, but it's cool to see it just kind of like in its, nascent stages.
And props to the stunt team who were playing the Secret Service
Yeah, I
because they had to
know.
like pretend all of that was happening. Like it's
All that wire work is just insane. Yeah, I mean, and that was like, we forget, but like painting out wires was like a relatively recent special effect.
yeah, we still do it and we fix costumes and all
Oh,
that kind of, it's
sure,
wild.
but just even being able to do it at all was like, I feel like that didn't really take off until like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and The Matrix, and
Yep. Yeah, all of those for sure, right? Especially Matrix. Matrix, like, it's too bad that I know we're like totally off tangent already,
yeah.
but with
This
like
is
with
our
the
this is our first chance to like end on time with this
yeah,
episode.
the like when they had all those cameras in a circle and they were filming those like crazy moves,
Yeah, the bullet
like
time.
the bullet time stuff, like that was like a flash in the pan as far as like movie effects goes, because now we just do it, we just film it as is, we create a 3D model and then we just spin the camera around like we do
Yeah.
digi doubles, right? Where then it was like you had to
It
film
was
all
a
of it at once, like
and it was a miracle. Like, do you remember the first time you saw bullet time? You're like, what am I even looking at? How is this possible?
and that's why it's so cool. It's still
Yeah.
I don't know, I still think the first Matrix movie is like just rad.
Yeah. No,
I think
for
it's
sure.
super rad. All right, housekeeping. Got a little gift here from Matt Bush, which is relative to our show. And it is amazing. Anyone saw Toy Anxiety? Spoiler alert, you already saw it. But we got the Spider Wars Venom, right? Black Sea
Sick.
Venom on his symbiote, is his orca.
Is the orca named Pump Up, or was I not reading the whole thing?
No, it's I guess it's not an orca. It is an inflatable stingray symbiote
With Pump Up. So
Pump
that's
it
not its
up,
name.
right? But again, all of these are great.
Awesome.
This whole wave is great. And I also wanted to point out again this beautiful bubble that is Spider-Man's head. Like, bring that back. Marvel Legends team, bring that back.
You should open it up and paint it and wear it as the cheapest Spider-Man mask.
And then lift it partway up and then start.
That's something that
people.
Peter Parker would actually do in a pinch. He'd like lose his mask and he'd have to grab like a toy off the shelves.
You totally would. But I just wanted to show that off. So again, thank you, Matt Bush. This thing is totally awesome. It's this bubble that has me like, I don't know if I want to open it now.
I know.
It's so cool. It is so cool.
The toy might disintegrate if you open it. So
yeah, the balloon might.
Yeah.
Whatever that inflatable thing is. It really, really might. Okay. All right, we're going to get to it. We're going to talk about our 5 favorite comics because we didn't want to talk about the leaks. News went from like crazy nuts last week to nothing this week.
Yeah.
And we don't really get much of it. Like we don't talk enough about comics on this show in general, and I feel like we should be. So we all said we're going to choose our top 5. Of course, we all chose 6. We couldn't help it. But so Alex, I'm going to go to you first. What is what's your runner up?
Okay, my runner up, and I had like a few, of course, like even my runner ups, I don't just have one.
Oh, I just chose one runner up.
But well, so this isn't. I won't like go into. So I just want to point this out. This isn't quite a Batman comic, but I just want to shout out the Paul Dini's Dark Knight, which is a sort of autobiographical, graphic novel about an event that a mugging that trauma that Paul Dini actually experienced, that in his work through that trauma, and it was while he was working on Batman the Animated Series, and this sort of explores how that helped him get through it. And the artwork is Edward Risso, who has done great. I love the way he draws Batman and Batman's Rogues Gallery. And so he's it's an excellent team. And yeah, so I highly recommend this graphic novel. But it's not, it's Batman's in it, but it's not, I wouldn't really classify it as a Batman comic.
But it needs to be shared.
Yeah, it needs to be shared. But my runner-up is this, and also I guess I should set up like when I was thinking like Batman comic, like I figured just like even if it's a story in an anthology kind of thing, like just not necessarily a comic book, but just a comic with Batman is sort of, that was my like guideline. And obviously there are, like, if you want to talk about like graphic novels and stuff like Long Halloween and The Dark Knight Returns, like these are like some of the best, and so that's not like on the list. I was just thinking of like individual comics.
Okay, good, because that's what I did too.
Yeah, and also more caveats, not necessarily saying these are the best Batman comics. It is just top 5. So like some of these are on here for like more like nostalgic purposes or different reasons. So I'm not necessarily saying these are like the best Batman stories out there, but they're top.
But they're
5,
there,
right? So my runner-up, after getting all that out of the way, my runner-up is from Detective Comics issue 1000.
Ooh,
do you remember this?
I do. I got all of, dude. They're great. They're full of pinups and splash pages, and they're great. They're great.
And my runner-up is the story in here, which I guess also, should we say like spoilers for these comics? Because some of the detail, like I'm probably going to get into.
So we don't have to get into like great detail, but you can kind of give us a quick briefing of what it is, a synopsis.
Yeah,
a cold notes.
But so I guess I'll just say, if you do want to like read these stories, like I'll probably, some spoilers will occur, right? So so there's the story in here that is drawn by Jim Lee, which who doesn't love Jim Lee on Batman? Like it doesn't get better than that. And written by Kevin Smith, the fat man on Batman himself. And basically the setup for this story is we sort of established like Matches Malone has come to this like pawn shop that has a secret back room that's called Gotham's Gift Shop. And the idea is that this is like a sort of a secret store that sells memorabilia from used in Gotham crimes. So as you can see, it's like Kite Man's kite, and like there's like Mad Hatter's hat that sells like a batarang in it. The Joker's mallet, just like anything that's that like rich bored people who want something like kind of rare and black markety, like will go to this guy to buy. And so we see that it's Matches Malone is looking to buy something, so we know it's Batman. And intercut with Matches Malone kind of like telling this guy like what he's looking for, we're seeing these panels of Batman fighting all of his rogues gallery, and we're paying close attention to like each time the bat symbol is getting damaged in these instances. So it's like we see he gets like the acid squirted on it from Joker's flower. You've got Clayface hammering it. Onomatopoeia, of course. Kevin Smith throws his villain in there, and we saw him in the Cape Crusader trailer. He's shooting at the bat symbol, and just like it's getting burned up, and like and that's kind of like what the design is. It's like it's a target. That's why it's like a logo. But so what Matches Malone is looking to buy is not anything from Penguin or Poison Ivy or any of his rogues. He's looking for the gun that murdered the Waynes. So it's the gun that shot his parents, and it's in there. It's just like the guy just has it like in a drawer, just like a drawer of miscellaneous guns. It's like, oh yeah, this killed like 2 famous people in Gotham, so it's in here. So Joe Chill buys this gun. matches Malone buys Joe Chill's gun, right? Again, we see more stuff of, the Batman taking a beating. And so then he's back in the Batcave. It's Bruce Wayne, and he has the gun. And Alfred says to him, "Why? This is like disturbing, even for you. This is too macabre. Like, why would you want this like painful reminder here in the Batcave?"
Right.
And what Batman wants is he doesn't want it as a trophy. What he does is he melts the gun down, and he forms it into like a kind of like a Kevlar armor, and that goes underneath the bat symbol. So it's this sort of in protecting his heart. So like
Right.
so we have this sense of Batman as the vigilante. He's the dark side of that is that he's out for revenge for his parents' murder, but this is taking that trauma, taking that negative artifact and reshaping it into something that's greater, something that is actually acting not as his destruction but as his salvation. He's taking this item of pain and making it something that's saving his life.
Yeah,
And it's
it'll protect
behind
him.
the very symbol of what he does. I just thought that was like a very poignant, very sensitive take in a new like interesting thing. It's like we never really thought of like what happened to the gun, what the symbol is all about, and Kevin Smith found that little aspect of the Batman universe, and he created a very sensitive story. And if you listen to any of the Fat Man on Batman podcasts, you know how emotional and sensitive Kevin Smith is when it comes to Batman. And yeah, I thought it was cool. It's a runner up because honestly, like some of the like writing itself, there's like a lot of kind of just like visual puns and stuff, and it's like not quite like the ending is great, like the
Right.
payoff
He sticks
reveal.
the landing.
He sticks the landing, yeah. So yeah, it's a I wanted to have it in there just because like that story, that having that ending like really hit me. It's like, oh man, way to go, Kevin Smith! Like,
Yeah.
added
Like
something.
like
Yeah,
you got it.
because these motifs have been like done to like the pearl necklace. Like everyone has like added on to the backstory of like the Wayne's murders as like, so like now it's
Yeah.
like like Zorro is significant, and like Alice in Wonderland was being read to him before it's just like they've just built so
Yeah.
much into
Watches the
that,
gray
like,
ghost with his dad.
yeah, it's like, man, they were really doing a lot that week before they went to see that movie. A lot of
Yeah, that's true.
symbolic things happened in that time.
Dorlaxian here saying my favorite one is the bit of an odd duck. It's the original Batman versus Predator. It's what got me into comics as a teenager, and I hadn't read it since I was very young. Hey, it still might hold up, but that's a good choice. And again, chat, anyone watching, if you want to drop your favorite Batman issues, like go for it. Manic Mike, Batman in the Court of Owls is a top contender for me. Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder are amazing, and I agree with that as well. All right, I'm gonna go with this is great. We can just keep swapping like this. I'm gonna go with one of my runner-ups. It's a movie adaptation. And one I couldn't help but to choose. I chose the Batman Returns comic book adaptation drawn by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez.
Amazing.
The whole thing, it is a thick beast of artwork. The cover is amazing again by Jose. Look at that back cover.
Nice.
Right?
And that's an original?
This is a first printing. It's good, sir. This is like it even has like the opening credits, like the opening credits, right? And again, it's just this is like one of the best adaptations to a movie I've ever seen. And of course, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. They actually kind of show the Penguins grabbing everything, the parents and Max Schreck coming in, and just it is beautiful. Like to me, this is like the Kenner toys coming to life, and it's the Penguin how I kind of wish we got him in toy form and stuff as well. Like it is great stuff. I'm just trying to find a good iconic page.
So yeah, good Catwoman. Does he have her getting pushed out the window?
Oh, he's got everything. Hang on. Everything is there, right? Her getting pushed out. And hang on, I'll keep going here. And yeah, the cat's.
Oh, that's cool.
Right?
Wow.
Beautiful book. And like, I mean, it's one of these things where it's like, we've all seen comic book adaptations to movies before that they crank out, you know, before the movie comes out. But this is just like, so good. Like there is love put into this. Like next.
Jose Garcia Lopez, like just like getting him to do it. That is, you know, we're not that it's not a cash grab.
It is not a cash grab. Like not in
the there you go.
Right? Like it's so good. So again, don't need to really get into this one as detailed. But I do highly suggest if you see this at the just, you know, when you're at your local comic shop and you see the back issues or just whatever, if you see it, don't sleep on this. Grab it. It is great. And this is why it's like, this now makes me just want to go out and play with my toys. This is what this makes me feel like. It hits all the nostalgia buttons and yeah, that's it. I love it.
I've never read it. I've got to find a copy.
Yeah, so I'm going to highly suggest that. All right, we're going to go already to the next one.
Oh yeah.
Alex,
are
you ready?
I am. So next one. So Batman Black and White, great source of great Batman stories. And I've got a few of mine come from here. You know, full transparency. Actually, this was another runner-up. This is the like Howard Chaykin one, Petty Crimes, where Batman is tracking down a killer who is killing people for being rude, just being, you know, jerks. Like, you know, somebody doesn't.
Someone's projecting.
This guy has had it. He is like, it's, you know, society has finally gotten to him, so he's killing people for like talking in a movie theater and stuff. And he always
I hear that.
It's great because you see him, you know, he's like trying to do like he's late for the bank. The bank just closes. He just missed it, and the security guy locks the door. And every time somebody, you know, dicks him over, he makes this face. And then you see the person like dead, you know, or like, but so like basically reusing this like perfect expression to somebody who's like had it, who's fed up. And so, yeah, so that's the, you know, that's Batman eventually brings him to justice. But the one that I will select from here is, I should have bookmarked it. Let's see. The Neil Gaiman, Simon Bisley storyline. Where have you read this, Ryan? Where basically it's a real crazy one. So basically, it's kind of like that Looney Tunes cartoon where like the sheepdog and the wolf like they're just like working a job where they like punch in, they like clock in, and then they become mortal enemies, and they, you know, they do the whole thing of the wolf trying to get the sheep and the sheepdog constantly thwarting the wolf, and then they like then it's like, you know, quitting time, and they clock out again, like, all right, we'll see you next time, Hal, like, you know, and they're just work buddies, you know. So that's kind of the premise here, where Batman and the Joker are like actors. It's like they're comic book characters, but it's treating it more like a movie. So it's like Batman shows up, and the like receptionist and the assistant, like, they're like, oh, here's your call sheet for the day, here are your sides. The Commissioner Gordon scene is running long, so you'll just have to like take a seat in the waiting room. So then he's in the waiting room, and he's looking at he's looking at like a Time magazine while he waits, and Joker's doing a crossword. And they're just kind of like, oh, like, how much longer did they say it would be? And he's like, oh, they don't know, it's going long. He's like, well, do you want to like run lines? Do you want to like run the scene? So then it's like this sort of rote thing of like them performing a scene from a Batman comic where Joker's like, oh, blah blah blah, call it trial of the century, like doing their bit, and then they kind of like do a little bit of a fake fighting, and then you get to see the actual scene, and it's like something out of like a really cheesy Batman comic, but it's all the tropes there. So Batman jumps through a window, and like you get your big comic book action. There's this reveal that the director of the comic is Lobo. And then and then the comic's over, and they punch out again, and it's just it ends with Batman and Joker just walking off towards the commissary to get something to eat, and they're Joker's saying like, oh, that splash page where you came busting through the window was so cool. I never get pages like that. And Batman's like, yeah, but you get all the cool speeches. And he's like, yeah, I guess I'm kind of like a speech giving character. Like it's really fun. And the art, it's like, it's Neil Gaiman doing this like fun, cool meta thing. And then the art style, Simon Bisley doing Batman is just phenomenal. And it's not necessarily what you would expect for the content of the story, but it just like he just delivers like insane, wacky, amazing Batman stuff that just has that, that it reminds me of those like Legends of the Dark Knight action figures that they did, and like look at this goon's face.
Nice.
Like, no one draws like Bisley. I mean, look at the Joker's face. Look at this. I just always remember this Joker design with his like crazy hair and his crazy,
overbite,
cadaver mouth. Like it's just nuts.
That's awesome though.
Yeah.
That's freaking sweet.
Yeah, it's a fun one, and it's always like kind of stuck with me. Oh, and one last thing. Like, so the comic's almost over, and then you get just in this panel the freaking Batmobile, this Bisley or Bisley Batmobile with teeth. It's just like this animal.
It looks like he's driving the Max.
Yeah. So it's amazing. So this has, it's got like Paul Dini vibes. It's funny, it's fun. Like, so yeah, I've loved that comic.
No, that's awesome. That's a good choice. That's good. No, I like that one. Hang on, dude. Answer this one for Chad Stewart. Where's Alice? Alice is still in Japan. Let her she works hard, man. Let her vacation. We
gave her such a long list of stuff to buy for us that's what she's doing.
That's what she's doing. Correct. Right? Because I probably should have sent her a reminder if she sees those statues, but I guess she'll know. She'll know when she sees them. I am picking something also from the Jim Lee handbook. I'm picking up
nice.
From Batman Hush. I am choosing Batman 615, the one with Nightwing. This is one of my favorite issues, for sure. A lot happens in this, and I feel like we get kind of like, again, the side of Bruce we don't really see a lot of, which is that emotional side. Like, now this is where he really kind of starts to talk about his emotions, how he's feeling about Catwoman, and something that we rarely get in comic books, especially after they I guess really, I honestly can't think of a book or even an issue before this one where we kind of hear Batman's thoughts about Dick Grayson and where Dick Grayson kind of like falls into his life. And to me, this is like an issue that always kind of like stuck out because, first off, this beautiful splash page of all the Batmobiles in the garage.
On that like perfect, like you get that thing that rotates them in. It's like he figured out like, how is he gonna fit all those cars in such a small
right? And it's Easter egg heaven in this too. Like Jim Lee's Batcave, there's no parallel to this.
Yeah.
And this whole thing with like Batman still trying to be like cut off and shut down around Dick Grayson. He's trying to front, and you got Dick Grayson the whole car ride there, like, hey, what's going on? I'm hearing things about you and Catwoman. If you're gonna do this thing with Catwoman, you better tell her who you are. Also, if you're gonna start kissing her, you better shave. And by the way, all this stuff. And he's just being he's being Dick Grayson. This is the Dick Grayson who is not scared of Batman.
Yeah,
and he never was. Like, he's never shown fear to
like
Bruce.
His brother.
Right.
It's like
because
a
they are more
dad slash brother.
like it's like father figure slash older brother. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of the relationship with those two was never parental. Right? I would say even
Yeah.
with the same as Alfred is to Batman, that's what Alfred is to Dick Grayson. And those
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
right? Like it's more closer to that. Again, these beautiful splash pages.
And no
And
one
what
can draw the underside of a boot like Jim Lee.
God dang, that's all this series is just a splash page of boots. And you know, it's great because it actually feels like just an old they wrote it. This is Jeff Loeb, by the way, who wrote it. And the way Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee did this one issue, they made it feel like an old 1930s comic redone, where it's just Riddler doing Riddler shit
Yeah.
and them just kicking his butt and them just, you know, doing their thing. Their dynamic duo.
Yeah.
So it feels like an old style comic, and this is where this is where we first see the true hints of like, okay, this is where we start putting clues together. Batman finds piece like residue of the Lazarus Pit inside this getaway van.
Doing some detective work,
And again, we get that old school banter between Dick Grayson and Batman and the villains and the goons. And we get that big reveal. This is the big,
that double panel too is really cool.
The double panels of Hush revealing himself to Joker. Meanwhile, Batman's revealing himself as Bruce Wayne to Catwoman.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff. Spoiler alert. You know, they kind of do the double splash page again. And then, of course, the last line in that book was, Dick was right. I should have shaved. It is hands down one of like my most favorite issues. And I still feel like this series, Hush, like without Hush, we don't get Tom King's run on Batman. And Tom King's run on Batman to me has always felt like a continuation of Hush more than anything else. And again, it's in that sense of like, this is one of the few first early books we ever got where we get Batman expressing emotion. And it's not just him, like to everyone else in the book, he's fronting and he's got his guard up. And for the rest of us, we hear what his thoughts are, what his emotions are, and how he feels about the people around him. And that's what makes this one, to me, I feel that like that a single issue to me is what makes it super special. Plus, I'm a huge fan of Dick Grayson. So,
and it's taking that the Catwoman relationship to the next level. Like you said, it's like humanizing Batman through Catwoman, which I feel like Jeff Loeb always has, you know, Batman the Long Halloween and Catwoman When in Rome. Like he always does the best job of like further of establishing that Batman Catwoman relationship, having that sort of like at the center. And he writes Catwoman really well, I think. And Jim Lee obviously draws Catwoman really well. Also, just as you're flipping through, it's like, man, Jim Lee's art in those books so goddamn good. I mean, the way he draws Batman.
Come on.
Oh yeah. He draws he draws like Robin and Nightwing like he created those costumes. Like he makes those things sing. And this, his like I feel like with this book in particular, it was almost like he was like sculpting with the shadow. Like I remember being, you know, as you know, being a young artist looking at these books and like how informative it was, the way he like showed you the structure of Batman's face, you know, like how you could kind of see his skull, the way the shadows like, you know, poured down over his face. It's just, amazing.
Dynamic stuff. Dynamic, beautiful work by Jim Lee on that one. So good. That's
definitely one of the best Batman projects of all time.
Right. Yes, I agree. It was a major one. Christopher Negri, I never read Batman comics, but I loved him in Justice League International. My favorite issues is when Guy Gardner is getting in the face and Batman hits him so hard he turns Guy over nicely, overly nice. It's that, and again, that's
such
an iconic
famous
panel. That panel belongs in museums. That's all. That's what I'm gonna say. It is so good. Aaron,
now that we have
yeah,
Guy Gardner in the movies and stuff, we gotta see that at some
it's
point.
it has to happen. It has to happen. Aaron, the most influential Batman comic in my life was A Lonely Place of Dying. It was one of my first comics, and I must have read it 100 times. That's
Yeah, I've got that
another great
around
choice.
here. It's a good one.
Yeah. How are you feeling about Catwoman? Well, so far the first two things I've shown has Catwoman in it, so that should tell you. Christopher Negri, the purple costume, that purple costume, 90s Catwoman with the long black hair and the black boots is my favorite Catwoman. That's a good
The Jim
shout out.
Balance.
Yes, Zach, I wasn't a big Hush fan story-wise, honestly. That's fair. It's not going to hit with everybody. That's all good. You're brave saying that on this show, I'll tell you that. Yeah. The comic binge, The Dark Knight Returns is my favorite.
Yeah.
Again, it's classic. You can't beat it.
So I anything that was like a graphic novel or a collected edition, like I was, it's just like single issue. So yeah, I mean, like, you've got all the iconic ones like Arkham Asylum, and I didn't include. So well, I'll get into it. Aaron.
Yeah, okay.
I digest.
Nice, excellent.
So my next pick is, well, hopefully the iPad does okay with this.
I already saw that. I just got giddy. I almost picked this. This almost made, but I couldn't find the comic, but I got it. But yes, go.
Batman and Robin issue 1, Grant Morrison, Frank Quitely. I have read this comic so many times. It is my favorite, like, first issue. It's such a good first issue because it gives you everything you want from Batman. It's Batman and Robin in the Batmobile chasing a bad guy, but it's all feels new. It's a new villain, Mr. Toad. But he feels like a classic, like he fits into the Batman world immediately. You've
Dick
got a
Grayson's
new Batmobile.
Batman's rogues are amazing, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the flamingo, and
the flamingo I love.
Just when we thought there was because Batman was feeling a little stale, to be honest, when like this happened, and like I know that Grant Morrison had been introducing like sort of new bad guys, but like, this was like such a welcome shakeup.
Yes.
And spoiler alerts again for like if you don't know this comic, this is not Bruce Wayne. This is Dick Grayson. Because Bruce Wayne was dead at this point in the comics, or more or less dead. And so Dick Grayson took up the mantle of Batman, and Bruce Wayne's son, Damian Wayne, became Robin. So this is also the first time we saw Damian Wayne as Robin. And prior to this, they were teasing like who's gonna be Batman, who's gonna be Robin, and so then it was like this big surprise.
What was it? Something for the cowl?
Yeah, Battle for the Cowl. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Which gave us that even Two-Face was Batman during that.
Oh yeah, well of course he sees himself great, as a hero,
costume.
Right?
Like,
that was great. What I love about this series, sorry, I'm just going to interject. What I love about this series especially is because it is like as if Batman, it's like as if Bruce and Dick swapped roles in a sense. And this Robin he's very grumpy. It's
a tough, dark Robin, lighthearted,
smiling
Batman. And because it's and part of what I also loved about this is that it's like that's bringing some of that spirit of the 1960s show back into it. It's like even this cover, it's like this big bright yellow, like it's like, oh, color in Batman. And even their costumes remind me more of Adam West and Burt Ward, just because it feels like real fabric that's kind of draping over real human beings, and like you can see stitching and wrinkles, and the small ears. Like there's just something really kind of fun but hip about it. It's like very cool. They've got a cool car again, it's like got kind of like a hot, and we've got sound effects. Like this is so brilliant of Frank Quitely to take the sound effects that were made popular in the 1960s show, trying to simulate comic book onomatopoeia and actually working it into the art itself. So the explosion forms the boom sound effects, and there's like a few more like this like whooshing whoosh sound effect
Yeah.
that's that's the missile trail. And yeah, I mean, just like how exciting, like, you know, there's this explosive opening. I love this. You know, you've again, Frank Quitely, such a brilliant draftsman, artist. You've got this exciting dynamic shot, but then to give us the sense of like motion, he cuts to this lateral, profile shot, so you can really see the motion of the car coming out of the tunnel. And it just like it I mean, it's a feast for the eyes.
It
And
is.
in this,
I think
again, you
this
get
is
the
Frank.
splash there.
Yeah, I think this is Frank Quitely's best work. To be honest, I like this work. I like
It's
this more than Superman.
Oh wow,
Than All Star
it's hard to
Superman.
choose. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about like, I mean, for me, it's like best of the best. Like, how do you choose? But yeah, this is certainly way up there. And look, Batman and Robin working together. They both
Yeah, the
punch the
double
bad
punch.
guy. Again, feels very like Adam West, Burt Ward. And and this guy's not like a main villain. He's just like, kind of a stooge.
Yes.
And then you've got, some talking about, setting up the plot. Bruce, they visit Bruce Wayne's grave and they're reflecting on that. You get this cool, they're not in the mansion, the Wayne Manor, they're in the Wayne Tower. And you get this awesome little cross section that Frank Quitely does so well of the Batcave. And yeah, and it establishes some like friction between Dick Grayson and Damian. Damian's like, I could do this solo. Like, why does Robin need a Batman? Like, he doesn't understand why he needs Dick Grayson. And skill wise, he's perfect. Like, he's a very capable, he might be more capable in this one. Robin might be more capable in terms of his combat skills than Batman, but he is still a child and immature in certain ways.
Yeah, it's that maturity level, and it's that anger he had to control.
Yeah, right. And then you've got like kind of creepy but very Gotham-y, it's like, again, it's like that colorful world, but like twisted, and like, so it's like a broken down carnival, careening out of control carnival freaks. Like, you just feel this like tension building. Great, like just this like, Commissioner Gordon and his kind of like rumpled coat and these like two kind of like oafish cops. You're like, yeah, this is a GCPD that needs Batman. You get it. This amazing,
beautiful
splash page of them. Their car is like parked in the sky and they're jumping down. Like, that's some Dick Grayson style. They're keeping the style points alive.
Flying Graysons, right?
Yeah, exactly. Acrobat. He knows how to make an entrance. And then the piece de resistance for this issue is the introduction of one of the, if this isn't one of the more memorable villains you've encountered reading Batman, I don't know who is. Like, Professor Pig, just the creepiest, scariest guy coming to brutalize this guy who double crossed him. And this line like always gets me. This is like such a classic Grant Morrison line. Professor Pig says, "Strange how the worst place in the world can be anywhere." It's like, about to torture this guy in his living room. And it's true, he's got him strapped. It's just like that idea, and that this panel, this image, this villain. It's like, oh man, this guy is next level. And then Pig will make you perfect, while he's reaching for a buzz, like a drill, like whatever this like horrible saw drill is. Like,
it's mad scientist shit.
Yeah, total mad scientist. I mean, he's already got blood on his apron when he walks in. And yeah, so disturbing. His henchmen are totally creepy doll people, and yeah, and then just like what a way to finish out the issue. And then you get these great in every issue they would do these little teases for the next one, which was also kind of new and cool for a Batman comic. So I love this issue just because it feels familiar. It feels like familiar Batman stuff, but it's also all new stuff that you've never seen before and done in a new fun way. So yeah, so that first issue will always like kind of stick with me.
Right. Like Zach puts it great too. Morrison, what if Prince was a villain? Everyone, yes. Right. Like,
are you talking about Flamingo? The
Flamingo, yeah.
Yeah.
That's, right. Like that's right. And there's a lot of dislike for Damien in here, but it's just and some love, right? It's just like shiny plastic. I loathe Damien, but I love this run, right? Because if you're a Tim guy, you hate you hate Damien for whatever
that's what's
reason.
so great about Damien is that like when he was introduced, they pulled no punches of like there's nothing likable about him. He was horrible,
right?
Like
yeah,
but interesting, an interesting character
right.
to read, and the way he shook up the Bat dynamic and shook up that world of actually being Bruce Wayne's son. It's like, I mean, Grant Morrison is a genius. Like, yeah, he is a genius for just perfectly diagnosing what will breathe new life into a franchise.
The comic binge, Gotham City Sirens was coming out too, and that was fantastic. Also, Batgirl in this era is extremely underrated. I agree, because that era would have been
the new 52 Batgirl.
No, this would have been at this same time as this. So this would have been Stephanie Brown.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. I've got my wires completely crossed. Yeah, I guess it was. Oh yeah, the purple costume with the blonde.
Yeah, I got that trade too. It's good stuff. All right, cool. I'm going to go with my next one, which is actually on brand with yours. In the sense of I picked Batman King Mitch Gerard's number 62.
Nice.
The Professor Pig issue. Again, pretty much for the same reasons you just talked about. It is it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
With Batman. This is I would love Matt Reeves to take a crack at Professor Pig.
Oh my god.
Again, like just if we're not, I understand we're probably going to get a classic villain as the main villain, but even to have something like this just to kind of start out. And again, Mitch Gerard's, he's killing it right now. There was like Mr. Miracle just came out, I believe, right before this. And then even now, like he's Adam Strange, and he's doing something else with Tom King right now. It's not Wonder Woman. Mitch Gerard's is amazing.
That's so cool. The panel of Batman, these upside down, so the blood is sort of dripping up.
Well, I like every time we see the pig, right? He's upside down.
Yeah.
And in here too, he's talking about
show his distorted worldview.
Right. And he's kind of talking here too about like, I am losing so much blood. If I don't end this now, I'm done. Right. And they do show you how he gets out. Like, because you always sit there and kind of wonder, like, how the hell does he get out of this situation? Like, this is bad. And it's so good. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. Again, Batman number 62. And it just goes on and on like this. It is just a fight, a bloody fight between Professor Pig and Batman. And it's scary. It's creepy. It's gross. You can smell it. Right? Like you.
Yeah. That's well said.
It is awful. It is an awful, awful book, but in the best possible way. Like I said, it's like a horror movie. It takes place in a meat locker.
Yeah.
You know,
what a nutty guy.
You know, and it's so wild that it's like there's a twist at the end. I'm not gonna break it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna show that because I just want everyone to pick this up. Again,
Do you remember
Which
in one of the best Professor Pig moments is in Batman and Robin issue 3, where he does his, I think it's issue 3, where he does his like dance, his weird dance number, and Damian just goes, "You've just redefined wrong."
Right? Yes. Right. Yeah, Stephanie Brown. Did we not say Stephanie Brown?
Yeah.
I feel like we have the Batgirl. Yeah. Okay.
I probably confused the matter.
Yeah. Oh, call me bitch. I thought this was favorite stories. Yes, we are talking. We are doing like our favorite single issues of Batman. Just our, even if they're part of a big story, sometimes some issues just stand alone. This is one of mine. That's so yeah. The Batman again. Batman 62. Look at that. Even signed.
Love it, and I love that it's like Professor Pig shouting it.
Yeah. I love it too. I love it too. All right, we're gonna let you go to the next one on your list. Oh,
so this was mentioned. Gotta have some Court of the Owls love in here. So yeah, talk about like breathing new life into the comic. Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, like they just knocked it out of the park with their New 52 Batman run. Just the entire run is like so cool. And also talk about like great first issues. It's like that first issue opens with Batman fighting like all of his rogues in Arkham, and you get to see there's like that shot of Greg Capullo drawing everyone, and Batman's teamed up with who you think is the Joker, and you're just like, man, this is a blast. This is great. This is giving me everything I want. And it's kind of gives the idea is it kind of gives you everything you want up front, because now we're going to take it in a new direction. We're going to show you something different, and different indeed with the Court of Owls, which the storyline here is pretty cool. It's like a sort of secret society, this like cabal within Gotham that Batman doesn't believe exists, because he thought they may have been responsible for his parents' murder, and he investigated them, and it was too much of an emotional thing for him, and he went down this conspiracy rabbit hole and realized there's no such thing as the Court of Owls. Like, I'm just letting my emotions like steer me here. I need to be logical, rational, evidence-based, right? No evidence that the Court of Owls exists, right? So that's something he firmly believes. And then this storyline is, of course, well, there's like evidence starts emerging to suggest that the Court of Owls has been pulling the strings in Gotham for centuries, long before Batman, long before the Waynes, long before anything. So they know. So the idea is like Batman having to come to terms with like, how can there be something about this city that's so important to the city I don't know about, right? Like, Gotham's my city. It's there. It's been theirs this whole time. And also, obviously, like, owls are natural predators for bats, so it's like this perfect meetup. But anyway, in the issue previous to this, Batman was attacked in the sewers by the Talon, who's sort of the enforcer for the Court of Owls. And Batman has disappeared. No one knows where Batman is. So it begins with the bat signal, and Harvey Bullock comes out, and and also if you don't hear the voice of the animated series Harvey Bullock when you're reading it, you're doing it wrong. But so he comes out and he says to Commissioner Gordon, you've been running that thing for so long, you're going to burn out the light. I can tell it's starting to go. Why do you keep it on? He's not coming. So Batman has been missing for who knows how long. And Commissioner Gordon's like, well, I keep it on because, people need to know that, he's still out there. If we, this is as much, we're hoping he'll show up, but this is also to like give support to like his allies, and all the people of Gotham who hope that he's still out there and hope he's okay. But so we're setting up in the beginning, we're seeing no one knows where he is. Everyone is looking for Batman. He's nowhere to be found. And so then we cut to where Batman is, and we see him in the dark, and he's this weird, creepy thing with one like exposed eye, and we see a little hint at a maze, and then the lights come on. There's this giant owl, and we realize that Batman has been trapped in the labyrinth of the Court of the Owls, somewhere underground, underneath Gotham, perhaps.
Yep.
And he's looking pretty ragged. He's been
Don't give
there
away the twist on this one either.
I won't. Well, how much twist?
Well, the fountain twist.
Oh, yeah. I'll try. I'll cut it short before then, I think.
Yeah.
I hope. But I gotta give away like one feature of this issue because again, if you haven't read it, like read it. Don't stop watching this video. Pick up the issue, read it. Because
pause it, read it, come back. Yeah.
Because this is in here too. Because it's like this was I experienced something like I never had experienced before reading a comic, right? But so anyway, so Batman's lost in this labyrinth. He's looking pretty haggard. It's definitely been more than a few days. And one of the components of this issue is this great motif of like strong white lights shining on. And then Batman finds this bit of darkness. He kind of like slips back into the darkness, which is his home. But the lights keep coming on. And so this bright light shines in his face, and we realize it's a flashbulb from a camera. And we realize that this is a room that he's come to a couple times and trying to find his way out of this maze. So it's like he's kind of going in circles. And lining the walls of this room are all the previous victims of the maze, victims of the Court of Owls, who have all had their pictures taken each time they come upon this room. And you see them getting older and older and older and eventually like dying, right? They have hundreds of people have died not being able to get out of this maze. So those are your stakes for Batman. And we see like his reflection. He's seeing his reflection in the face of one of the previous victims, establishing he's next. And then we see the eyes of the Talon behind him in the glass. And he talks about how like, oh, they were hunted by this minotaur of the maze, this like thing that endlessly pursued them. So the Talon is just sort of this like shadowy stalker in here. And this again, like perfect, beautiful match between the Scott Snyder's words and Greg Capullo's pictures. Like the pacing is so good, like because you're in Batman's head. Batman's narrating and he's losing it. He is struggling to hold on to his sanity as he's going through this maze. And so you'll get these little short inner monologue pieces intercut with this perfect, beautiful pacing from Greg Capullo, and just this constant motif of the dark where Batman thrives and then being exposed when the lights come on to be this sort of pitiful, ragged thing. And we're looking at him on the ground here, trying to find a crack in the marble where the Court of the mirages he just saw seemingly disappeared into the floor. It's just like, man, and you've got the Talon like looming over him, watching just this like sad, broken Batman. He just looks so, ragged. And you see the maze, it just feels so hopeless. Comes to this room of a miniature of Gotham City. The owl's like taunting him, like, this city is ours. We know it better than you. He's seeing names written on the wall, and it's like Gordon and like people. He's like, man, who are these members of the court? Are they victims of the court?
Right.
So at any rate, I won't spoil all of it, but you see, as we're going through this, you're being asked to rotate the comic.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And so he encounters this elderly couple. He thinks they're his parents. So it's like this idea of like, and he's also back in the room of photographs again. Like we as the readers have like, now experienced the feat of ending up back in this room where they take your picture, and we see that there are pictures of Batman, and he's looking worse and worse. He's definitely one of the victims. And Batman's trying to hold on to his identity. He's like, the Court of Owls, they don't know me. They don't know my identity. Like I know who I am. And then, he encounters this elderly couple he believes to be his parents. And now you've flipped the book. So now we are actually upside down. We're reading the comic upside down.
Upside down
and
and backwards. Yeah.
So Batman, and this is the point in the story too, where Batman's sanity is really starting to go. So he's like, with seeing his parents alive, and the idea of like, oh, maybe they've been alive this whole time and trapped under this labyrinth, and I just haven't known it. I didn't know it because I've been like oblivious to my true enemy this whole time. Like, as that like linchpin in Batman's sanity sort of comes loose, and we see this like sort of nightmarish thing of his parents turning into monsters, we realize that we've sort of lost our minds along with Batman. And yeah, I won't spoil, I won't give away the rest of the issue, but I mean, that's just brilliant. That is a brilliant moment of really, I mean, these two artists at the top of their game, putting you in Batman's mind as it is falling apart and deteriorating. It's and feeling that as you're turning the comic and looking at it, having your whole perspective changed. Brilliant. Like, just and it just, I mean, that obviously is like a, okay, these guys are hitting their stride moment in the storyline, but it's a great, the storyline continues to be good. Their whole run is just epic on Batman. And they, I don't know if
like
it's
they're
like
brothers, you know what I mean? Like the way they
and
talk about each other, it's
which is funny too, because there was like famously friction between them in the beginning where they were like, I don't know how we're gonna work together. Like, we have, they were both,
this guy has too many words.
Yeah. And they came together kind of like, Dick Grayson and Damian Wayne, and they just became this perfect dream team.
Yeah.
And amazing that two guys that initially had this like friction and both wanted to take the book in a specific direction would come together so beautifully. And yeah, so I don't know if it's like the perfect Batman run of comics, but they made that character their own, and it is a perfect run of comics.
And it's beautiful.
As how I'll say it. So yeah.
No, good call on that. No, that was a good choice. Zach saying here, my favorite is the one Batman comic Alex Toth drew, number 442, Death Flies the Haunted Sky.
That's a great one.
Yeah, great shout out to Alex Toth as well. Like,
just from a good like draftsman perspective, like you feel like you are up high. The way he's a master. Obviously, he's a master of visual storytelling and composition, and yeah, that book is all in full form.
Yeah, agreed. Randall Guzik, my top 5 pre-Batman single stories: Batman 414, Brave and the Bold 197, Batman 431, Batman 300, Detective 526, other Batman book appearances: Justice League number 5, Batman 9 Lives, and Cosmic Odyssey 4. Whew. Well, someone with a bat symbol as their avatar, I would expect a list like that.
It's great that I love that you guys are putting all of your picks in the chat. Definitely, like, everyone put their. Can we have it so the chat shows in the videos later? Or?
Like I'll figure out how that works.
It'd be cool to like be able to go back and like, because we're obviously yammering.
But the chats are still there in the replays. The chats are still there in the replays, so we can always go back and try to find out which ones these all are.
Yeah, because that's definitely cool. Put your picks in the chat.
Yes, please. The Comic Binge 650. It doesn't get enough love, and if I remember correctly, that is Red Hood, or like the first one of the first parts of it, or lead up to it, maybe. I'm
sure that's a good recall of that you're able to pull that.
Well, because I remember. Well, only because this is. I just did 6-1. I just did from here, which is the 600. So it has to be.
I don't pay attention to any of the issue numbers. Okay. I just know the story.
I was just saying. Anyways, I'll continue here. All right. So this is probably going to be one no one's going to see coming at all, which is great. Batman Gotham Adventures number 32. Okay. Versus the Scarecrow. This is right when, like, think about it, this is 32 issues in. This is based off the New Adventures of Batman. First off, this cover, Grip of Fear, amazing. Beautiful, beautiful work.
Perspective, the sort of wide angle, super dramatic perspective.
Yeah, and it takes place on Halloween, and right off the bat, it's like Batman helping a.
Is this Ty Templeton, or who's the
This is
artist?
not Ty Templeton. Hang on, I'll get to the credits here in a second. This Tim Levins, Taryn Beatty were these guys. So now it's really funny because like, yeah, it starts off here and it's like Batman tending to somebody who just had a heart attack, which is also kind of nice to see. But then out comes the mob. Like in the next page, it's a 2-page splash of this. And this is how the whole episode goes. And
feeling like a scarecrow situation.
Yeah, and the credits are legit that. Like it's Scott Peterson, worried, Tim Levins, nervous, Terry Beatty, apprehensive, right? So it doesn't like that's how they did the credits, which I thought was
great.
Super fun. And that's exactly what this issue is about. Scarecrow drops one of his scare bombs into the city, and it's giving everyone crazy anxiety and fear and nervousness. And it all starts again. He does the same old tricks of, you know, he goes on TV and he tells everyone I'm dropping this. And it's great because even here, Batman takes that guy he was tending to the hospital, and we see chaos happening in the hospital. Right. So it's because now it's hitting some of the people there. So now you've got paramedics trying to save people that are freaking out. And I don't know. It's just, all these were just like one-shot issues. Again, one of the best Scarecrow designs ever. Right. So some people are affected. His name. Yeah. Some people are affected. Some people are not. And we get to see like, again, everyone doing their thing. So you got Batgirl and nice. Doing crowd control.
This art is really good at doing the style for sure.
It's so good. And I
love that expression.
Well, it's just Robin eating a candy bar, right? Like it's it's so, and them trying to figure out, okay, if we go back into the city, like how do we deal with this? Right. So now of course you've got people still all freaking out. But again, it's just something about this one particular issue of Batman fighting off just civilians. And
was that Condiment King?
No, this is someone emptying the fryer on Batman.
Oh, that is
right. Like
that's as bad as any Joker acid.
Right, like
it's a villain of the fryer.
Yeah, like it's the fryer. But when Batman finds out where Scarecrow is hanging out, he actually has to go through a trail of people trembling in fear.
That's good.
To get there. Like they're leaving a path for him. You know, and it's I know it sounds like a very basic, you know, Scarecrow story, and it is, but it's like,
you got to respect it done well.
You got to respect it done well. Like it's so much fun. So again, like I'm just throwing it out there. I know it's random, but I wanted to also try to think of something that this is probably going to go right past everyone's radar. And I'm going to highly suggest if you like just some fun one-shot deal comics, really well drawn, really fun written, Batman Gotham Adventures. It's a great success for the Batman animated series because those comics have some stellar issues as well.
That cover is just incredible.
It's so good. It's so like this too, like you see this on the shelf, you're going to pick it up.
Yeah.
Like you see this on the spinner rack, you're going to grab it. Like,
yeah.
So
I really loved the Scarecrow episode in the New Adventures of Batman where his gas takes away people's fear, and that's just as chaotic and awful. Like that, like what a great twist. And Jeffrey Combs is the voice of Scarecrow. He just so creepy.
yeah, it's a
perfect voice to go with that design. Like
so it is one of my favorite designs of anything from Batman. It's so good. Zach, Batman Snow is I don't know if you meant to say Snow is like, I think I have to read Snow is dope. I'm like,
Just in general, Snow is
in
dope.
general. Yeah. Batman Snow is a dope Mr. Freeze story. Great art by the late Seth Fisher. Good shout out there. Honor
Yeah.
you 83. Honor you 83. Batman 427. Batman 635. Batman 457. Detective number 27. Batman 1. Honorable mention to Batman 403, which is the first comic I ever owned.
Nice.
That's
Which
awesome.
Batman 1? Batman 1 Volume 1?
Like,
Volume
yeah, are we
2,
talking like
which is the New 52?
right? Or are we doing
We're talking
Reborn, right?
first appearance of Robin, first appearance of Joker, first appearance of Catwoman. You're telling me there's a Batman comic better than that?
Yeah, there might be. All right, let's keep her going. What's that? What's next on your
maybe
list?
I've got the maybe I've got the best one. Ready to go. 1 second.
Yes, hydrate.
Frog in my throat from
there's
all
a lot
of
of talking
happening.
Talk.
1 sec.
Yeah, everyone hang tight. The man has
okay. All right. So this one is like yeah. Oh, there's a frog in my throat. This so this one has some nostalgic value for me. So I first like really got into Batman comics when the Batman and Robin movie came out because I was so excited for that movie. I was so excited for Mr. Freeze and for Poison Ivy and so I was like I gotta get my hands on some Batman comics. Like we were on vacation and it's like I gotta get some comics. I gotta dive into Batman comics. I was obviously a fan of the animated series. That was like mostly my Batman and the Tim Burton movies. But at any rate, so DC shrewdly recognizing that there would be probably plenty of kids like me with the same thought, put out a bunch of like Mr. Freeze, Bane, Poison Ivy related comics and stuff. And one of them was almost on my runner-up list. It was a Bane comic that they put out with Rich Burkett art. Really good.
Yep.
But anyway, what I got was this issue of Batman Chronicles because the cover was here. I'll show the cover was this, right? Oh, hang on. Is this?
Oh yes,
it's like
yes.
Oh, there's everything I'm looking for. Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, Batgirl. All right, here we go.
Such a great cover.
And it's and I've like a lot of fond memories for this issue. But one of the stories that has always stuck with me as like a great Batman story. Ryan, I don't know if you know this one because I feel like you would really enjoy it. It's photo finish. And basically the premise here, and it's art by Duncan Fegredo, who I don't know if I know he's like mainly did Hellboy. I don't know if he did many other Batman comics, but he is so good at drawing Batman and Robin and like draws great capes, great expressions. And so at any rate, this opens with like Batman and Robin have been pursuing Catwoman and they're by a mall and Catwoman's like, this isn't my style, as if I would ever steal from the mall. Like, come on, it's beneath me. But you've got so like Batman and Catwoman are duking it out and you've got Robin, go like, yeah, get her. And like, and he's like, you see the progression of him just like kind of freaking out like in the background there.
Yeah.
And then Batman pins Catwoman and then he goes, Robin, do you think you could maybe go round up some evidence? And Robin's like, yeah, sure, I guess I can. And so he's like, man, why is Batman like, send me off to do this dumb mission while he's with he just wants to spend time with Catwoman. And as he's climbing up, talking about his dumb mission, he sees Batgirl. And so this is like early days. So this is maybe Batgirl has met Batman like one other time. Like they don't know each other. She's totally the new kid on the block. And so Robin is like, he's going to try to like, embellish his importance. So he's like, I'm on a super secret, super important mission. And Batgirl's kind of like, oh, like, can I tag along? Oh, shoot. Hang on. Technical difficulties. Anyway, so she's like, can I tag along? And they have this great kind of, initial animosity towards her, because like Robin, like I don't need some girl cramping my style, and you're just gonna get in the way, right? Uh, but Batgirl wants to tag along, and I just love like just the expressions and the body language, like it's just all so
That's
well
really
done
good.
from Duncan Fegredo. Um, you know, it's like it's kind of Kevin Maguire esque almost, you know,
A little bit.
and yeah, just the way he draws, like I love the way he draws Robin's costume. Like it's just like it just feels like real. It feels like a real, you know, in
Yeah.
Batgirl suit. Like there's just
I
like a
don't hate the pixie boots.
yeah, right. It's like it
Yeah.
almost makes sense, and also just like the way like Robin. So Robin is probably like the age I was, you know, when I got this comic. Like
Right.
he draws him like right on the cusp of like puberty, basically,
Yeah.
which
Robin
is
is a gateway drug.
which is it's the perfect time for him to encounter Batgirl, who's like just a little bit older, like just a little bit more like, you know, matured. And yeah, of course, like, you know, Robin is, uh, it's Batgirl. He's realizing it's Batgirl. So there's a fun kind of like chemistry between the two of them. It's like awkward. They don't want to you know, he does, you know, they don't want to get step on each other's toes. Like he calls her a girl, she calls him a child, you know, it's
Yeah.
like, you know, they're both right. Um and and Batgirl like sees like her favorite mystery novel in the window of a store because they're in the mall. He's like, "What are you doing? You're shopping? Like we're supposed to be on a mission." And she's like, "Well," she's like, I'm sorry that I missed the author. She was apparently in here for a signing. I would have loved to get a picture for my scrapbook." And Robin's like, "Oh, scrapbook? Like, what are you talking about?" And she's like, "What? You don't have like a book of your fond memories and stuff?" And he's like, "Well, like I have a circus poster, you know."
Yeah.
Um, and so then, and they're realizing too, like they found some clues. They realize like this isn't Catwoman's work at all. Like there's like a broken line to escape, and like, well, Catwoman would know to have like a proper line to support her weight. So we're not dealing with Catwoman. They encounter the guy that is actually robbing the mall, and he is trying to find a way out. He can't get out, and so they drop on him. He pulls a gun on them, and there's this great moment of Batgirl's gonna, you know, kick the gun out of his hand, but like Robin's also throwing his batarang. He hits Batgirl by accident with the batarang, and she falls into the guy, and he gets away. So it's like they're not working together, and so they,
Right. They're not
you
in
know,
sync yet.
they've messed up. Uh, Oh, and she says she introduces herself as I'm Batwoman. So now she's sort of like over embellishing her role, just like Robin like tried to impress her earlier. Now she's trying to like kind of make herself seem important too. So it's like a fun kind of like back and forth there. So now they're running in, and now the stakes are raised, right? Because now this guy has a hostage, and it's a little girl. There's like a woman janitor at the mall, and she had her daughter there with her, and so now this guy's got a gun on a kid. So they really have to like work together, you know, or else this kid's gonna get hurt. And you know, Batgirl, like all she has is a marble in her utility belt, you know, because it's
Yep.
like, you know, it's early on, you know, this is like a very like ground level like crime fighter sort of thing. Uh, and so like, okay, we'll make it work. So they use the marble to distract the guy, and then they use this so that they get him. It's almost like in the Arkham game where, you know, you get him away, you get him to like, you know, walk into your trap, and then Robin swings into action. He kicks the gun out of his hand. Batgirl, you know, she catches the gun. Great teamwork stuff. They get the guy. And then the little girl says, "Bat," you know, calls her Batgirl. So it's like, oh, it's official. You know, she's Batgirl. um, and Robin, like, you know, dunks the bad guy in the trash. And then again, them working together, and it's kind of like a, you know, intimate moment as they're like getting away before the cops show up, and admiring their handiwork. And one of the cops even says like, "Huh, I didn't think Batman had a sense of humor." And you're like, because he's in the trash, and like, well, it's not. It wasn't Batman. It was these
Yeah.
two. And then they're high-fiving, you know, and they're just like two kids like at the mall, like, you know, after just busting a criminal, and they're right next to a store for like prom dresses and prom tuxes, and
Yeah.
Batgirl
Foreshadowing.
sort yeah, and Batgirl sort of like, well, you know, Robin, have you ever been on a date before? And Robin's like, well, I don't really do much other than this. Like,
Yeah.
and she's like, oh yeah, right. I guess you guys are pretty serious about it. And then it kind of comes back to this idea that like Robin doesn't have like a scrapbook. He doesn't really have a lot of, he's young, he's still a kid, but he's, so it's time to like start making some happy memories, because he's like, oh, I guess what would I put in a scrapbook? Mug shots? And she's like, well, maybe it's time to start like making some happy memories to put in there. And so they go to this, and you see there's like a photo booth next to the store. So then it's Batman is like, Catwoman has gotten away because like, she wasn't even involved. And Batman's like, oh, good work, Robin. What is this, evidence? And it's the strip from the photo booth of he and Batgirl, goofing around and maybe getting a little, lovey-dovey at one point. And I just love this POV shot of Batman looking at the photo booth strip and seeing Robin's face looking at
like
Batman,
mortified.
looking at it. Yeah, it's so good. And then Batman says, good teamwork, Robin. And he goes, good team. And he's happy looking at his first happy memory memento. He and Batgirl. So sweet. So,
that is super cute.
it's the sort of like, it's a sort of like romance of the Batman world, of like running across rooftops and, going on these daring adventures and stuff. And yeah, like 11-year-old me or 10-year-old me was just like, this is great. Batman's great.
I'm gonna have to try to find that trade. I'm gonna try and find that. Because dude, that's like, you're right. That's totally right up my alley.
Yeah, and the artwork's so good, and the other storylines are pretty good too. It's like, there's a good Poison Ivy story in there for sure. It's Batman Chronicles. I want to say like 10, or I can give you the issue title. It's
I'll find it.
Yeah, you'll get it.
Yeah. Randall Guzik, Batman Gotham Adventures number 44 was an awesome book. The series was awesome. Batman Last Rites is underrated. I think I know which one you're talking about too.
Cool.
Justin Mohan, my favorite Batman stories are Hush, Long Halloween, and The White Knight. Don't have a single issue. That is my favorite. Not one single issue. Clint Jorgensen. I think I said that right. Thank you, Clint. Thank you for being here.
Jorgensen.
I think we can.
Jorgensen.
We got this. Happy late Canada Day to everyone. Thank you. Right, it was like, again, been reading Batman books, all the titles since 1977. Underrated stories are Batman number 400, Batman Outsiders number 1, Justice League number 250, and anything with Alan Burnett was good. Just many to love. Yeah, that's good shout outs there. Zach, Gotham by Gaslight, just the first one, mind you, is a Bat masterpiece. Agreed. And Bacon McShig, the first Batman comic I bought was actually a Superman comic. And it's not a Batman comic. Okay, anyways, Superman
speeding Batman's bullets in it, right?
But Batman's in it. Yeah, it's Superman speeding bullets. I couldn't believe when McFarlane made a figure from it. That Batsuit was my favorite. Yeah, I got that figure too.
Wait, what's the figure?
It's the one with Batman. Wait,
he made a Batman figure?
So yeah, right. It's if Clark Kent, if Kal-El crashed into the Waynes, and he's got the Batsuit but with the shield. It's pretty dope. I like it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, mine is also a bit of a flashback from my childhood as well. This was a freebie that you would get in a store if you bought anything from Batman. This is it doesn't have an issue. It's just Batman words to the wise. All right. You got this if you bought anything at Zeller's in 1992 and you got this for free. And it is amazing. So you've got your Zeller's ads in there. That's Zeddy trying to tell you to join the Zeller's Club to get some points. Lynn Wine.
Nice.
He's one that wrote it. Ween, right? Kurt Swan is the artist on this too.
Damn,
so
they
it's
got
actually
an
like
all-star team on this.
they got an
Look at that.
all-star team on this beautiful opening splash page. And it kicks off in Montreal, Quebec. So it's pretty much Batman kind of like kicking ass like all the way through Canada. With, of course, coupons you can cut out for $2 off Batman Returns.
I want that sweatshirt so bad.
Same.
I love the like white
Same.
logo, the white bat symbol, like
Me
with
too.
instead of yellow. That's
And
super
also,
cool.
here's a save $1 off Batman Returns action figures. Right? And we're gonna keep going east. We're gonna head out to Toronto as well. We're gonna help out these couple of kids at the library. Also, great Batmobile.
This is the only thing that could make this comic better is getting it with your mutating Donatello.
Right. Johnny Cock would know this. Yes.
In the box. Did it come in the it came in the box? So good. So good.
Right? He would know, being a Canadian, right? So it's just like we're going through. Yeah. Also, Joker's like beating up high school students.
Oh wow.
Like
so that's I thought that was like a some sort of device he had, some sort of gadget that launched fists.
Right. And not only that, he threatens a woman in a wheelchair. Like
damn Joker.
Like, this gets dark, and here you go, because you got to get ready for back to school. Oh, also, I just love. Sorry, I'm loving all these Zellers ads. So, like, go get your latest VHS of Tiny Toons and All Dogs Go to Heaven. But again,
was that episode of Batman 66 where Joker he makes all the vending machines on a school campus give out free stuff or free so that the students won't learn the importance of money?
Yeah, that's yes.
They'll think that things
accurate.
in life can be free.
He's going to the Canadian National Exhibition at one point, which is also we're still in Toronto, folks. We're still in Toronto. But here's the hang on. Where's my favorite part here? They have to hang on, sorry. Hostess Munchies. If you're Canadian, you'll get this. You'll get this.
We still have to look at the Zellers ads, the Batman commercials,
yes, we're gonna have to do that. But now they're putting clues together with these teenagers to find out the
Batman
Joker's
just standing there,
yep, just
arms at his side.
Yes. It's like something out of The Simpsons. But then they find out their next stop is Zellers in Edmonton. So this is probably the same Zellers that Johnny Cock got his mutating Donatello at.
Does it look accurate?
It's you tell us, Johnny. Is that the Zellers?
And I only know Zellers from those commercials that I saw online somewhere. I was like, where are these from?
Hey, it's the law of Zellers Toyland, right? We have to follow that. Zellers was great for toys. It was again, that was our box store, right? And then they head up to Calgary just in time for the Calgary Stampede.
Oh, so the finale isn't at Zellers.
It is not.
Do they go to Zellers HQ and that's where the big showdown happens?
No, it's it happens. It all ends up here in Alberta. You gotta remember, Alberta in the 80s was like a magical place because it had the Calgary Stampede, which was the huge thing, and then there was West Edmonton Mall, which at that time in the 80s was the world's largest mall with it had everything in there. It has a pirate ship in there, an amusement park.
X-Men at one point, or Alpha Flight.
Alpha Flight was there. It had the huge water park. There was a dolphin show in there, which they had to stop doing because the dolphins.
Yeah, that sounds kind of.
Yeah, you don't. Dolphins weren't meant to live in a mall, believe it or not. Again, let's look at these.
Humans were though.
Yeah, humans were absolutely. I love these neon Batman Returns bed sheets.
Yeah.
Hook a brother up. and I love how the last page is actually on the black back cover, so it's nice and glossy. With
Nice. That
the map,
is
right?
something
The
else.
RCMP are there arresting Joker
That's a
in a.
really weird Batman portrait. Like
It's
he looks like
wild.
a boy or something.
If Todd McFarlane would make rodeo clown Joker,
Yeah.
that would
I'm
be
surprised we didn't
amazing.
get that in the like Legends of Batman line
Yeah, right. Like it's
with a bat
and
horse. Like
hang on to this too. Like Zach, the Calgary Stampede is a big deal for the Heart Stampede Wrestling Fed. Sure was. It was a big deal. Right? It's but no, this is like because it's just like I remember having this. I actually picked up a new like a better copy of it, I think at Christmas time. Because I saw it at the back issues at the comic shop back in my hometown. And I was like, I'm getting this. Like, this is just, it's too good. And I'm so glad I did because it just, the ads take me back. This is a time comic.
Yeah.
More so than anything else. And just all the Canadianness in it.
Yeah, right.
They don't, he catches them before he got to BC, right? Before he got to the, to the West Coast.
Room for a sequel. Ryan, you gotta write the sequel.
God, should we do it?
Is Zeller still around or
no? So Zeller's got bought by Target. And then in less than a year, Target shut it all down and got a huge like settlement for closing them all down in Canada. So then we had like no box stores. We have like Walmart. Like that's it. But we still have Toys R Us, but we lost Zellers. I don't know, man.
Well, maybe it could be at a Toys R Us, but or like there's a Zellers suddenly like shows up and like everyone's going there to buy and Batman's like gets suspicious of it. He's like, wait a minute. They closed all the Zellers. And it's like some plot by the Joker to like trick people.
No, I'm trying to think of who I think it should be Mad Hatter. Everyone's at the Bay, but everyone thinks they're at Zellers.
Yeah,
because the Bay owned Zellers, and I guess they still own the name and all that stuff. So they started putting like little like sections in the Bay called Zellers, which of course is like the equivalent of Macy's putting in a little section called Toys R Us. So they'll have like Zellers t-shirts and stuff. I should see if you could still get those at the Bay, like the Zellers t-shirts and stuff. We should have some of those.
And we got right this, right. The like, Matt. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done a Mad Hatter like, shopping, manipulative advertising sort of like They Live, just like consume. People are just being like brainwashed into consuming and like. Hatter's gone corporate,
and he has an app.
That
too. That gets like people addicted and stuff. I wonder. We're gonna have to. If anyone knows, if we're onto something that's already exists, please let us know, because that would be like super fun to do. All right, we're down.
We should get the Mad Hatter to write it. We should get our
He's a writer.
Mad Hatter. Yeah, exactly.
He's a writer. Like, why not? Right?
Yeah, we'll pitch it to him. We'll pitch this half idea.
Gosh, we should have him on this show at some point.
Yeah,
we should get him.
We'll write it live.
We'll write it live. A live riff. Of a Batman story. All right, last one.
All right, so last one, and I've talked about this before. So obviously, I had to pick a Bruce Timm comic. Mad Love would normally be like, this is like my favorite best of all time Batman comic. It's just so good, but it's a graphic novel. It's like I'm not gonna break my rule and choose that. So
but it was a single issue. Did you ever have a first?
I guess it was. I did. No, not a first. I have some. I have an old printing, but
so I do. Oh, and I have it signed by Bruce Timm and Kevin Conroy.
Son of a gun. That's awesome.
But this is why I didn't have it here, because I didn't have my gloves, and I'm pretty sure someone would give me total shit if I pulled that out of the bag with no
Yeah,
gloves on, there would have been.
you
Some,
can't
what
do.
is
You
he
can't.
doing?
Some things cannot be done. Yeah, but yeah, it's yeah, I guess it's like a premium format or like a one
It
whatever
is.
that is.
Well, I mean,
I
so
could have
it's
done it, but I
you could have done
didn't.
it, but that's a good
I
shout out
didn't.
though.
Instead, I'm doing Bruce Timm's Batman Black and White, Two of a Kind, the
Oh,
Two-Face
awesome.
story, because this
Yes.
is such brilliant visual storytelling. And you'll notice that this is from the Les Daniels Batman book, because this is the only place I can find where it has Bruce Timm's like marker shading. And they did do like a digital version of this, but somebody, I assume not Bruce Timm, colored it digitally and tried to make it look like the markers, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
I need to see Tim's brush strokes. Uh, but yeah, just I mean, yeah, I've talked about it on this show before, but just like so brilliant, like the sort of having this 9-panel grid or 8-panel grid that is bisected just like Two-Face, just like Harvey Dent's personality. The way they use those storytelling rhythms to create that sense of duality, and just his like what he can describe in one panel, it's just like masterful. Like comic books now, they're so it's so like decompressed storytelling where they'll take an entire comic to like to basically say what Bruce Timm can communicate in a panel. It's
Right.
just brilliant. I mean, look at
No,
this. So
he's
this is, again, spoilers for the whole thing, but this like this brutal scene, and you get everything you need in 2 panels. Basically, it is a tease, and then or it's reveal, and then aftermath of seeing him, just this broken man after the shock. Like, it is just so good.
that is awesome.
So good. And look at this hair. Look at her hair blowing in
Yeah,
the wind,
Bruce Timm is an
and like
incredible storyteller.
this shot. Yeah,
Like
just
when it
when
comes
he
to
when he
comics and stuff, like it's so good.
his instincts are just like second to none. Like, when he decides to throw something in a silhouette, it's just like, and I
Or even
love
just that
this.
angle of Harvey Dent, like on the phone.
Yeah, right. His Two-Face side and shadow,
Yep.
foreshadowing
It,
as this
per-
temptation, like it's like, because Two-Face is not just an external thing, it's an internal thing, so representing that. But I also just, this pose always stuck with me, this sort of like, just this body language waiting
this
for the
Mad
phone.
Men style Don Draper at the end of the
Yeah,
day. Like, it's so
the
good.
cigarette.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, now this has
And
me more excited for Cape Crusader, because I bet you it's gonna have a lot
yeah.
of this.
Oh yeah, for sure. And yeah, and the storyline is obviously like, Harvey Dent thinks he's rehabilitated. The plastic surgeons have fixed his scarring. But then, and he has this his doctor is this beautiful fiance, and his life is going to be, just happily ever after. But then he realizes his perfect fiance has a twin sister who is evil, or the evil twin. Like, she is in love with Two-Face, not Harvey Dent. And she realizes that Two-Face is really the dominant personality, and Harvey Dent is just, the hopeful disguise, but that's not who he really is. So then she murders her sister and writes in her blood, now it's just the two of us. So, Harvey Dent has to he has to face he has to face his dual nature. And
There it is.
in the end, so yeah, sorry, the spoiler for the ending, but
Jeez.
so good. And yeah, and if you can track down, if somewhere it exists, the like shaded marker version, because in Batman Black and White it's just the line art,
Right.
but if you can find the version from this book somewhere else, like, because I don't know how hard it is to get this book at this point. This is like my original copy from when I was, 10 or 11 or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, it's yeah, that's one of my favorite stories. So.
That's a good shout. Like that one's really, really good. Mine is hang on, we'll just see if there's anything here in the chat. Have we collected any of those big artist collections? Johnny is asking.
I have like the Jim Lee X-Men and the John Byrne X-Men.
God, I don't know why I didn't get those.
They're awesome. I think they're probably still. I think they made more of those than usual, so they're probably still available.
Yeah, I'm a fake fan.
Well, the thing is, they are big. They take up a lot of space. They're heavy. It's like, it's definitely, you can't. I don't know how people, if you collect them, I don't know how you do it.
Right? There's that too. All right, we're gonna go with my last one. It's gonna be so obvious. You're gonna be like, oh, of course Doell picked this when he doesn't shut up about it. I picked Batman number 37, Tom King, Clayman.
Oh yeah. Love it.
I had to. This one lives in my head rent free forever, and I'll never charge it rent. It can live there. It can die in there. It can be, everything that I own will go to this book. This is the only thing that's in my will and testament. It's just like everything goes to this comic. Just give it to it. For those who don't know what this is exactly how it is. It's Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent going on a double date with Selina Kyle and Lois Lane. Good. And they're at the local fair over in Gotham. And hijinks ensue because they have to end up changing, because they were like, they have that discussion of, you do realize if people see Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent together with Selina Kyle, everyone's going to clue in pretty fast on what the hell's going on. So they decide that they're going to go in costume, and everyone's trading outfits. So Lois Lane gets into Catwoman's costume. Selina Kyle gets to whatever outfit that Lois is wearing. And of course, you see Bruce changing into Superman's costume and vice versa. Everyone feeling very awkward about it, because Lois is just like, I should not be wearing this skin tight outfit.
And Clayman, perfect artist for this issue.
Perfect artist, right? Like Selina Kyle seducing the young man that'll work at the door because they don't want to pay. And just like, you can't wear these costumes in there. And they're like, we're going to. So you see Bruce Wayne wearing Superman's costume. And sorry, I just want to point out, Clark is wearing his glasses over top of the cowl. So you get to perfect. And you just see them go out
corn dogs.
Eating corn dogs, doing the strongman contests. It is the differences between, there's Clark and Lois on the Tunnel of Love, and then there's Bruce and Selina Kyle. Like, it is the perfect book. It is absolutely perfect. Like the batting cages and them trying to one up each other because they can't.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that episode of the Superman animated series where Batman's missing and he has to pretend to be Batman?
One of the best episodes.
So good.
And it's him and Tim.
Robin is like, usually we don't stick around for this.
Yeah, these like right. It's just, again, you get to see Lois and Selina Kyle like connect. The Question shows up, or someone dressed up as the Question. But again, it just goes back to them just like going on rides, winning prizes, eating more junk food. I love how it's like Clark chooses vanilla.
Yeah.
Bruce chooses chocolate. Like, it's just,
and like Lois chooses like rum raisin or something.
Yep, it's
Rocky
so
Road.
Good. Yeah, it again, it is one of the most, it's 2 pages of it, by the way. It's multiple pages of them talking and eating ice cream, walking through the fair. Like, this is it. And then of course it ends with something super cute with Clark, with Bruce trying to strike out Clark. Right? No, sorry, it's the other way around. They switch it up.
Yeah.
And it's, it's so good. It's so good. It's just fun. Like, this is all I ask for in my comics is fun. Like, it's just, this is it.
There is but one flaw. How are you not going to have Two-Face show up to be the bad guy? It's the double date.
It's a
yeah. I mean, you gotta have Two-Face doing something, and they gotta, they have to fight Two-Face as each, Superman pretending to be Batman and vice versa.
Yeah, right.
No.
No,
they want to keep it. They want to keep it nice and positive.
Well, you got to remember what this was leading up to, and
I do.
What they do was just get us comfortable. They let us have some fun and some smiles, and then Tom King was like, "I hope you enjoyed that because the fun's over."
I have not forgiven him for that because I was so ready. I was so ready for Batman and Catwoman to tie the knot. I was like, I was reading all those issues. I was like, yeah, because again, it's like giving Batman a son. You're just like, I'm ready. Like this was like the unthinkable before. This is like what editorial would like never allow, right? But let's do it. Let's just go there. Let's see what like Batman married to Catwoman looks like,
Yep, we were, but in my gut and in my heart, I knew we weren't going to get it because I think they wanted. I could already see because I knew how many issues. Here's I think what was the worst part. Tom King shouldn't have announced how many Batman issues he was doing.
Oh,
but because I knew how many that he was going to be doing 100 issues, and I was like, they're not going to give it to us. Because we're gonna have to see the fall, right? And that's how I knew. It's like we're gonna fall, but we're gonna come back up, and we did. But I mean, we had to go to a super low point to come back up.
We were left at the altar.
We were all left at the altar. Yes, right. Zach's bringing up a good one too here. Batman Ego.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Johnny Cock, Darwin Cook.
Yeah. Darwin Cook. Yeah, I tried to think of because there's some really good Darwin Cook Batman stuff, obviously, but I just grabbed what I grabbed.
Final Frontier, man. If anyone does not own
Final Frontier,
it is a must-own book.
100%. It's one of, and I don't own a physical copy. I have a digital, but I've read it many times. It's like one of the most cinematic comics you'll ever read. It's filmed in VistaVision. It is a massive, amazing comic.
Right.
His artwork is just so beautiful.
When you read it, you could say this has color TV and air conditioning. But it's beautiful. It is such a product of its time that it was not a part of. Does that make sense?
Yeah, right.
Because it wasn't made in the 60s with all the Art Deco and the style.
I mean, it's really more 50s even. It's like a 50s,
yeah.
It's like the Silver Age we never got. It's like doing the DC Silver Age with the attitudes of the 2000s or whenever it came out.
Yeah. Plus his Wonder Woman that's taller than Superman.
So good.
To me, it's just always like one of those, like when she's looking down at him and it's just like, and Superman's just like, all right.
She's like beefy and it's great. She's great Wonder Woman.
I'm a witness to her thickness for sure.
Yeah.
Like she's great.
I also love the colors. I think Dave Stewart did the color. I love Dave Stewart's one of my favorite colors. Every time I'm reading a comic, I'm like, who did the color with this? Oh, it's always Dave Stewart. He does such a great job.
He's so good. I was when DC did those Darwin Cook variant covers where he was drawing He-Man and Skeletor and the ones of it's Batman crashed on the couch or on the armchair and it's Alfred like getting ready to put a blanket over him, and there's like
Oh,
Superman ones of him changing in the office. Like he did all these like beautiful splash page covers, like variant covers, and they're all virgin covers, so which means they have none of the logos on it. So I don't know if anyone else picked those up, but I think DC even released a collected edition of just the covers, which then pissed me off because I went searching high and low to get all those covers. Because again, we all love Darwin Cook, the late Darwin Cook, and he's just it's so good. So again, if his solo issues hands down were the best of the series. It's Bacon McShig. Also saying his Batman
highly
Spirit.
recommend the graphic ink art of Darwin Cook.
Yes,
there's tons of great art in this. His comics, pinups, like it's really a good celebration of his his work. Oh, such a good Batman versus Superman with a little Wonder Woman in there comic that he did. It's like the everything you wished that the Zack Snyder movie had done with Batman versus Superman. It's just like Darwin Cook just like shows you how it's done. Like these, because I think it's set in the Final Frontier world. So it's like the first time they're meeting, like they don't know each other. And it's like, Superman is like, I gotta go deal with this guy in Gotham City. Like, the government's like, it's kind of Dark Knight Returns. So the government's like, there's this vigilante run amok. You gotta like bring him in. He's one of the last masked men who won't like come quietly. And Superman's like, okay, like how hard can it be? I'm Superman. And then you see everything Batman would do to prepare for somebody with Superman's abilities coming to his home turf. And it's great. And yeah, and Wonder Woman's involved. And yeah, it's that could have been in this list, but it's not a Batman specific comic.
Well, we'll do more of these lists. I mean, it took us 2 hours to get through this. Maybe we'll have to do top 3 next time. Like, it's funny because
one
and we both were like, "Oh, this will be an easy hour," but you just end up talking about the things that you love, and it's hard. But I do want to throw out this one quick thing, one piece of news on our way out. First off, won't be an episode next week. That's going to be that's our recuperating week. So we do 3 weeks on, 1 week off, just so everyone can kind of catch up with their work and their life and everything else. Because we are pretty busy outside of here for those who don't know. But the week after that, that's when we'll do our San Diego Comic-Con predictions. And then after that, it's San Diego Comic-Con itself. It's preview night. So we're going to have some of the biggest news coming from preview night. We're going to discuss them here. Then the week after that, this is how much I got things lined up here. We're going to have Attack Peter on with us as well to talk about all those Mondo reveals.
Damn.
That have to do with Batman, X-Men. Maybe we'll get a first look of a Spider-Man that was announced last year. We don't know. There's nobody here that would know.
Talk about.
Yeah. There's nobody here that would know now that could tell us.
No,
right?
No, not at all.
So we're going to have to just wait 3 weeks and we're going to talk about it. Right? That's just how it has to go. So I'm sorry, folks, but I want to bring up this piece of news that was announced today because I think it's fun. I think this is a fun bit of news. A Black Label book. Thank you, comicbook.com, for this news. Batman, Full Moon. It's Batman fighting werewolves. I'm sorry. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool. This picture's awesome. But it's a Black Label comic. So shouldn't this be Batman Full Frontal?
I hope so.
That's what they gave us the last time.
I hope it's naked Batman fighting naked werewolves.
The full moon refers to his butt.
His ass. Yeah. But I didn't want to bring this up just because I thought it was just super cool. And there's sometimes I just feel like there hasn't been a lot of comic news outside of like just in DC in general lately that hasn't like really caught my eye or like just had me go, oh, we should talk about this.
I'm really waiting for that Wolverine, that Greg Capullo Wolverine.
Wolverine, and
that's a big one.
Gail Simone's X-Men run.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's crap. And what was it? And again, I feel like I'm totally lost on where DC is right now and what to pick up. I picked up
Yeah.
those Superman trades, which are really, really good, and they're all a lot of fun. But I still am just kind of like, I don't know where to go. I just don't know. I don't know where I need
Yeah.
to be.
I mean, World's Finest is really fun because I mean Dan Mora's art is just like
Yeah,
so
like World's Finest I've
like
been reading too.
he
But like
is
I
the
said,
new look of the DC universe, I think. Like
I think that's what Superpowers figures should be based off of. These should be doing a line of Dan Mora. Now,
yeah,
like what was it? A couple weeks ago, somebody said this on the show, and now I can't stop thinking about it. Like it's just like, man, just we need Dan Mora everything. Like, give me a style guide of Dan Mora, please, of him drawing or just give me a set of DC trading cards all done by Dan Mora. That's
100%.
it. Give me all of that. Give me all of that. Last little bit here from the chat. Randall Guzek, Doell, Batman 148, 149, 150, and Absolute Power are out. Read Absolute Power number 1 before 150. Copy that. I will absolutely do that. Mark Cosplay 117 or 117, 117. Hello. We're just finishing up, so hopefully you can catch us on the replay as we talked a lot of comics. That was a lot of fun. God, I love comic books.
Yeah.
But yeah, any off next week, then you're off to San Diego, sir.
Yeah.
So have fun. You know.
Thank you.
Right. But no, we'll see you still next week. Wait, there's still next week.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Or not next week, the week after. When is Comic-Con?
The 23rd, 24th.
There it is. So when we're back, you're still here. That's cool. We could do San Diego Comic-Con predictions. Hopefully Alice will be here and not too crazy busy. Because again, I know what she's working on and I know everything is ramping up and she's also taken like 2 weeks off. So she probably needs time to catch up too. But we'll have her on for the Deadpool review because her and I are going to Deadpool. We're going to need to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So we're going to have to do that too. So it'll be a lot of fun. So with that
it's
said,
be a crazy July.
It's a crazy July. Oh my goodness. We have to do couple San Diego Comic-Con episodes to catch up on all the goodness. So with that said, thank you everyone for tuned in. Thank you for everyone in the chat for giving us the list because we're going to try and go through them all and try to do our own little like collected edition here of Gotham City Tonight. And then if you're watching this on the replay, leave a comment down below on which are your single issues as well. And we'll tackle those as well. And we'll take a look at them. And you know what? We'll see you all in a couple weeks. And have a great night.